And I'm live. All right. Here we go. Okay. So, wrong button. I'm getting better and better at doing this and trying to be a little bit more prepared, guys. So, keep my phone here because y'all know I'm blind, so I can see comments and any questions that anyone may have. And of course, I have my handy laptop with me because there are a few things that we are going to discuss. You know me, I like to take my notes. So, guys, let's just get into it. I'm sure more people will start coming in after a while. And of course, all of my original vibers will be coming into the chat. So welcome to Intuitive Vibes Narc Survival 101. It's your girl Erica here with you guys today on this fine, cold, extremely cold Tuesday, depending on where you're at. I'm in New York and it's freezing outside. So if you're new to the channel, stick around because you may hear something that you need to know, maybe something pertaining to what's going on in your situation. And of course, if you enjoyed today's session, check out my other stuff, my other content, my other videos. And if you like it, hit the subscribe button so that way you're not only notified every time a video comes on, but, well, you get to hear the videos that you need to hear because, knowledge is power, right, guys? So, and of course, I'm sorry to all of my original vibers, my vibe tribe. Welcome back, guys. So, guys, I hope you all had a great weekend. I had an amazing weekend, of course, with my good friend Amanda. We had a great time over the weekend, laughs and just enjoying life and playing some serious games of Uno. And if you guys play Uno, you know how that game goes. Some friendships get broken up over Uno, but not ours. We actually had a really, really great time. So, Amanda, I had a great time with you, as always. You always make my weekends fun. Guys, oh, it's been a long day, but we're going to get right into it. Now, I know that last week we were talking about a lot of different things. And unfortunately, we did get interrupted by a troll, just trying to harass one of my other subscribers. And as we know, I don't do that on this channel. Do not harass anyone. Do not try to, just please don't try to poke at the beast when it comes to me, because I could be very, very merciless with my words, and I could be very, very heartless, especially with people who are not sensitive and not respectful towards people who have endured a lot. I mean, a lot of my subscribers, and even people who visit the channel, you guys have been through enough as it is with bullies, whether it be in your family or in your relationships. So I don't tolerate that on the channel either. Never have, and I never will. So just keep in mind, guys, I always have your back no matter what. So I know last week we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about, well, what haven't we talked about? Every week we talk about something different. We talk about something new, and and even if it bears repeating, you guys already know, it's all done to really, really just help you through with the process. And of course, each time someone joins the channel, each time someone subscribes, each time someone joins a live, it could be someone in a different stage of their situation. A lot of you are going through your healing stages, and I'm super proud of you for that. Healing is a very hard process, but it is not impossible. So you guys can do it, okay? And I'm always supportive of you, whatever route you decide to go, as long as you are, of course, protecting yourself in the process. But I primarily made this channel Narc Survival 101 because we correlate 101 with, psychology 101, sex ed 101. It's just a channel where you can learn things, okay? Am I a licensed professional? No, not yet. Not there yet. But a lot of what I do, of course, is based on studies, based on experience, and it's based on, on facts. So just understand that anybody, because I always encourage survivors to come forward and speak your story, come forward and speak your knowledge, because there are so many different people going through so many different stages, so many different phases of their relationships with family members, with friends, with romantic interests that, you know, what I have gone through, maybe you didn't go through it. But if you had gone through something else and someone else is going through something that you had gone through, you understand? So everybody has a story for one another. And that's what this is about. This platform, these weekly sessions are for us to come together and vent, come together and express, express ourselves. You didn't have a chance to really truly express yourself being in a dynamic with a narcissist or being in a dynamic with manipulators. And I want you all to feel comfortable enough to express yourselves here. So know that you are more than welcome to do so. You are more than welcome to, just let it out, and know that there is no judgment. No judgment here whatsoever, because all of us have been through something, and all of us have gone through the motions. We've all gone through our shameful period. We've all gone through, I can't believe I let this happen. We've all gone through it all. Okay. And if anybody cannot be sensitive to what it is that you have gone through, what it is that you've experienced, and if they cannot be understanding, or if you feel that you don't have anybody who can be understanding, then just always know that you have a place to come to if you want to talk about it. Okay. And you have my emails, you have my information. So if you want to let it out, I'll be more than glad to listen to you. But guys, last week we did, we discussed a lot last week. We talked a lot about, there's just the different components of narcissism, where it originates from. Clearly, it's from childhood. As I was on my way home from work, I was, I always like to refresh my mind. I like to refresh my memory. I'm reading books on psychology. It's part of my studies. And it was an interesting article that I read, but it did explain something. It explained that a narcissist pretty much loses their identity by the age of 5 years old. Okay. So from that very, very young age, that's pretty much where it started. They've lost their identity at that really young age. That's like, what is that? Probably like preschool, maybe close to kindergarten. They've pretty much lost their identity at such a young age. And the identity that was posed onto them was projected from their caregivers, whether their mom was a narcissist, their dad was a narcissist, or even both. And throughout their lives, what narcissists do is, if they feel a certain way about themselves, let's just say, for example, a narcissist internally feels weak. They feel, just like low self-esteem, and they feel extremely weak. What they're going to do is they're going to project a false sense of self. So needless to say, if they feel weak, they're going to project that they are strong. They're going to project that they are, that they're more than what they truly are. Okay. And they project it so well onto other people, and that they give that impression, that false impression, onto other people so well, they convince these people that, they're almost godlike. They're untouchable. They are, they're pretty much, I can get away with whatever I want to get away with. There's nothing you can say or do about it, because they've already managed to, formulate. They've managed to draw up their, what's the word for it? Their blueprints. So they've managed to pretty much set up everything, and they basically have, oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now. They set everything up, but they also have, when the outcome of the situation comes about, they basically have a backup for that as well. So for example, they manipulated you and they lied to you, and they were continuously, cheating on you. They were continuously abusing you. They were just doing, so many different things that are clearly unacceptable. And when the end result came, when, when everything was said and done, they've already it was premeditated. They already knew what they were going to do, what they were going to say, how they were going to say it, how they were going to portray themselves, even after everything was said and done. So even after the abuse, after the discard, after, the pain, everything, they already knew what they were going to do. So everything with a narcissist is premeditated, guys. Keep that in mind. Okay. A narcissist, a manipulator is premeditated. And understand, like I said before, it doesn't have to just be, love, like romance. It can be family too. Family, and in most cases, it's worse when it's with family, because these are people that you really thought that you could truly trust. I mean, it's not to say it's expected, but if you are dealing with someone who's a romantic interest, it clearly is a stranger. So you really don't know. You really, everybody has that trust issue when they start to date someone, until they become more comfortable with the person. They get to know the person and, of course, learn the person. But when it boils down to family, if you have narcissists in your family and they are conniving and they're manipulative and they're just, they these are the types of things that they do. It really, really, like it. I think it's a lot worse when it boils down to family, because these are people that you trusted, like really trusted. These are people that you never would have thought, how you would do these things to me. You would actually, hurt me. You would actually lie to me. You would actually steal from me. You would actually do these things to me. And, unfortunately, when it boils down to it, they simply don't care, guys. They really don't care. And it's, family or not, I've said it before, I'll say it again, blood makes you related. But loyalty, honesty, love, genuineness, that makes you family. I have plenty of people in my life who are not blood related to me, but they're more family to me than some of my own family members. And I'm not ashamed or afraid to admit that, because at the end of the day, for any family members who may watch, if they feel some kind of way about it and they want to, block me, unfollow me, or not deal with me, hey, shoot fit, wear it, right? So, guys, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the narcissist fog. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of it. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but it's pretty much it's an acronym. Okay, the narcissist fog is an acronym. Bear in mind, I'm going to be looking down because I got my notes with me, guys. I have a very busy work week, so I'm trying to keep everything in order. But it's an acronym for fear, obligation, and guilt. Okay, so if you had dealt with a narcissist, whether it be in your family, whether it be in your love life, at work, or friends, all right, narcissism is not prejudice, is not racist, does not matter what your sex is, does not matter what your sexual preference is. Narcissism is pretty much, it's just a mind thing. It's a mind thing. It's a way of thinking, guys. Just keep that in mind. Narcissism is a very distorted way of thinking. Okay. Now, the fog, fear, obligation, and guilt. If you've dealt with a narcissist, if you've dealt with a manipulator, you are very familiar with this term, the fog. Instilling fear, okay? Creating a circumstance which leads you to pretty much believe that you're obligated, and making you feel guilty for doing things that are clearly in opposition to what the narcissist wants. So, fog, let's talk about it. Okay. Now, fear is pretty much, you remember when you first met your narc, and we're talking romance, guys. When you first met your narc, and, in the beginning of the relationship, everything seemed pretty good. Everything seemed, you were vibing. Everything was cool. You were getting to know each other. The narcissist, if you notice, they like to ask a lot of questions. Okay. In the beginning of the relationship, they seem genuine. They seem genuinely interested in you. It appears that they want to know you. They want to get to know you. And I've always explained this in a lot of other videos. Narcissists are students. They're very studious people. They learn you. Okay. So that genuine, I want to get to know you. I want to know more about you. I want to know your deepest, darkest secrets. I want to know everything about you. You took that as, they really want to get to know me. They want to, they're really interested in me. The reality of it was, they were getting to know you, but they were learning things about you. So when the time comes, or when the time came, they can use those things against you. Okay? Especially when it boils down to wanting to know your deepest fears, your deepest, darkest secrets, wanting to know, just anything that involves you in your past and your life. Okay? They want to use these things against you. So remember, during the love bombing stage, there's that mirroring, there's that, I call it's synthetic empathy, because they have no kind of empathy whatsoever. But if some of you have gone through this and some of you haven't, where the narcissist sympathizes and empathizes with any kind of traumatic experiences that you've had. For example, if you had a bad breakup. So let's say the relationship you had before the narcissist, you you went through a really bad breakup. It was, the person cheated on you, or the person put their hands on you, whatever the case may be. And you were not too really keen on revealing certain things, but you felt so comfortable, you felt so open, because the narcissist made you feel that way. They made you feel like, oh, you're safe with me, you can be comfortable with me, you can open up to me, I'm here for you. You felt so comfortable that you revealed that information. Little did you know, the narcissist had planned on using that against you. Narcissists want to know your fears. They want to know your insecurities. They want to know what makes you tick. They want to know what kind of buttons. People learn buttons so not to push them. Narcissists learn buttons so when the time is right, they will push them. Okay? Because narcissists are the biggest button pushers, guys. They're the kind of people that want to learn every single detail about you, because it's their way of really having full control. Okay, narcissists are the kind of people that always want to maintain control. They always want to have the upper hand. They always want to be a step ahead of you. And by doing that, by getting to know you, by learning your fears, by learning your secrets, and of course, not revealing too much, because if you notice, they want to know more and more and more and more about you. And of course, if you inquire with them, or if you try to get to know them, or if you try to know certain things about their lives, one of two things is going to happen. Either one, they're going to be very evasive. They're going to be they're going to basically kind of weave through. So they're going to omit certain things, but they're going to maybe give you a crumb or two as to what happened with them prior to meeting you. Or they're going to what's the term for it? They're going to, like, they'll express certain things to you, and again, they'll be very, very evasive. So they're not going to be too forthcoming with the particulars. So you may have given them particulars of things that have gone on in your life, because you think, this person genuinely wants to know me. They're going to basically kind of just feel little things here and there. But most of the time, the things that they're telling you, the things that they are revealing to you, especially if it's in regards to exes, is fabrication. It's usually, they'll tell you, my ex cheated on me constantly. My ex, abused me. My ex lied to me. My ex did, and they will talk about their ex in a way that, if you've ever expressed a relationship with an ex, everybody's different. Okay. Everybody is different. And just because people express certain relationships with exes in a more passionate way, or in a more, more angry kind of way, does not make them a narcissist. But if you are dealing with a narcissist, you'll notice how they describe the demise of their relationship with their ex. The demise of that relationship it could depend also on how that went. Because if the ex before them discarded them, let them go, if the ex before you let them go, just pretty much saw through their bullshit and decided, I'm not, you're all types of crazy. I'm not dealing with this. We're done. It's over. As they move on to the new supply, which would have been you, they're going to basically fill your head up about things in regards to that ex. But interestingly enough, guys, interestingly enough, as you were getting to know this narcissist, as you were getting to know them in the love bombing stage, they are still trying to get back with the other ex. A lot of the time they're doing that. So even though they're pulling you in, they have you in the love bombing stage, they're still trying to reconnect with that person from their past, especially if they have children with that person. Keep that in mind, guys. And like I said, not everybody who has kids is going to, want to reconnect with their exes. But a lot of the time when a narcissist is going to the new supply and, grooming them and love bombing them, they're going to continuously try to go back to the ex of the past. And if you are the ex of a narcissist and they have their new supply, they're pretty much grooming their new supply, how many times have they attempted to try to reach out to you? How many times have they attempted to try to hoover you back in? So it's an ongoing cycle for them, guys. It's a continuous cycle. And unfortunately, it's just a very heart-wrenching one that we need to just put an end to it. We do, like, seriously need to put an end to it. And with everything that you're learning, I want you to understand that, you don't have to constantly be on guard in that, is this person possibly a narcissist because they're doing something that maybe kind of resembles what my ex did, or I'm not too sure because this is looking kind of familiar. It's okay to be guarded, but this is why I say, if you're suffering from PTSD, don't start dating anyone until you've managed to clear out all of that trauma and really properly heal, because you don't want to end up off of a misunderstanding. You don't want to end up hurting someone else or possibly ending something that could be really good for you, because you're being triggered because you're not properly healed. So you just have to be very, very careful with it, guys. Now, basically, what they're doing is like I said, as far as the fear is concerned, they're learning all of these things about you because, again, they want to know how to maneuver you, how to basically use the puppet strings on you. Okay, because they need to know, if in the event I ever have to discard this person, I need to know what basically pokes at them. Okay, they learn your insecurities because narcissists like to triangulate. Okay, they like reactions. They like to see your reactions to certain things. That's why I say they're button pushers. They want to know if you're an insecure person and you are, you're showing that throughout your relationship. They already caught on to that. Okay, this person is a bit insecure because, let's just say, for example, you're a woman and you were dating a guy and you notice they had a lot of female friends. Hi, Conceited. Welcome, sweetheart. Hi, Second Wave. Welcome. Hopefully the channel will help you if you need it, okay? If you're dating someone, they have a lot of female friends. And you're noticing, and this is to let you guys know that you're not going crazy. Certain behaviors just don't look right. Certain things just don't look right in that, let's just say, these female friends are flirting with your boyfriend, right? They're flirting, openly flirting, and you're kind of like, these are your friends, and they're like, yeah, those are my friends, and you're like, but do they know that this is kind of not appropriate? Right there is where they see your insecurity. They see that as your insecurity because they're looking at it like, oh, so you don't like the idea that I have a lot of female friends. And they're taking it that way. Now, it's not the fact that you don't like the idea that they have a lot of female friends. It's the fact of it's not appropriate. And remember what I told you guys before. They will twist things around. Narcissists twist things around. So if you say something and it's clear cut and dry, you're telling it to them straight to their face, this is not appropriate, they're going to twist it around and say, so what are you saying? I can't have female friends? You don't like the fact that I have female friends? And that's not true. But of course, with a narcissist, that's what they do. They twist it. Okay, second wave, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Andrea. Hi, sweetheart. But they take what it is that you're telling them and they twist everything around. So if you're sitting there saying, okay, these are your female friends, I get that. And they're openly being very flirtatious with you, but do they not know that you have a girlfriend? Do they not know that you're with somebody? A narcissist has already triangulated that. Okay. One thing I've learned is that people are not, and then again, I'm not, let me retract that, because as a woman, I know how, unfortunately, I know how other females are, especially females who pretty much want what they can't have or want what they shouldn't be having. But when someone is leaving the door open or leaving, the window cracked open, you're leaving space, you're leaving room for someone to come in and kind of interfere with things. But with a narcissist, it's pretty much a lot of these female friends, first and foremost, some of them can be friends, some of them can be friends, guys, but when it boils down to narcissists, some of them are either females that they used to deal with. Some of them are females that maybe are exes and they kept them as friends, because we know that narcs like to keep exes as friends. Some of them are females that they have, flirted with. Some of them are females. It could be a different array of different types of females that they have within their environment. I cut my narc almost 2 months ago. Hit the gym and got cut. Bought a 2018 Lexus and killed her. And it killed her. Oh my God. I had to rephrase that. And it killed her. And she's been calling me from app numbers. She came around Valentine's Day. I didn't answer the door. You know something? They do that. I noticed that one second wave. I noticed that they do that. They basically, they treat you like crap. They bring you down to your lowest point. And when they think that, oh, I left this person for dead, I left this person, with their heart squished in their hands. And, if I ever wanted to come back, I know they're not going anywhere. They're going to be in the same place. And it's actually shocking to them that not only are you not in the place where they left you, but you're actually doing better than them. You're actually doing way better than them. And because of that, obviously everything you've gone through, you had decided, nah, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. We're done. We're good. You went and did what you did, no problem. And I'm going my own way and I'm doing what I got to do for me. And to see you thriving and to see you striving, especially if it's with someone else too. But you can do it on your own. Narcissists are inherently jealous. So they don't like to see other people succeed. They don't like to see other people happy. They don't like to see other people doing well or doing better than them. So because you're not sitting there, crying and moping and going through any kind of depression or whatever the case may be. I don't know if you've gone through it. I've been through it. A lot of the people here have been through it. But when they see that you're actually doing better and you're doing better on your own, that you don't need supply, you don't need the attention that they need, that they feed off of, that they live on, you don't need any of those things, they get so jealous and so enraged. And they literally will try their best to come back. Like they will, in this case, what your ex is doing, using apps with fake numbers to reach out to you. Let's talk about it. Look, I made a big mistake. I'm sorry. Can we just sit and talk about it? Can you just for a second? I just want to talk. Just hear me out for a second. Nope. I'm good. They made the choices. They made these choices when they decided to put your trust on the line and your feelings and your emotions on the line, because everything they went for was superficial. That's why they are so inherently, they're just like, they're hollow. They're hollow and they're empty because everything they go for is superficial. That's it. That's why they never really have genuine relationships. That's why they never really, no relationship can survive. With a narcissist, I'm sorry. And there are therapists that try to tell you how to, cope with the narcissist, how to coexist in a relationship with a narcissist, I've seen articles where they say how to salvage a friendship with the narcissist. Why the hell would I want to salvage a friendship with a narcissist? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to salvage a relationship with someone who believes that the world revolves around them and they're just so arrogant and so superficial and so selfish? They care about nobody but themselves. Why would I want to learn how to coexist with one in a relationship when I could do way better than that? That it just makes absolutely no sense. And you do have some people that encourage people to coexist. Listen, if I got to coexist with a narcissist, if it's in a work setting, and of course, that's how I make my bread. If I got to coexist with you, that's one thing. But in a relationship, in a family, in a friendship, no, I refuse. I will not do it. Conceded, they detect when you are healing and moved on, so they want to regain control by popping up. Yes, they want you. And it's funny because there were times where I was afraid of being triggered. I was really, really afraid of it. And over time, as my healing kicked in, when I actually, came in contact with the person, my anxiety didn't even hit. Like, it did not hit at all. I was actually quite calm and I was quite grounded. And I was surprised at that. And I think that's part of what, showed me that you're still in your feelings, you're still in your emotions, but you're not deeply invested like you were before. You're not deeply rooted into it. And you're slowly but surely like detaching from it and you're breaking free from it. And, clearly they can sense that. Clearly, if they are watching you, if they are, going through your, hi, magnificent, hi, sweetheart. If they're going through maybe your social media, or if they're looking at certain, like they're keeping tabs on you. They clearly see that you are trying to get on with your life and you didn't need to move on to someone else to get onto your life. See, that's the thing that killed me most. As an ex codependent, I was codependent in the sense of, in my relationships, and I've admitted this before, in my relationships, my codependency showed. The fact that I, was just craving love and I was craving closeness and intimacy. And I was willing to do anything for my partner. I was willing to do anything to keep them by my side, which ultimately included accepting abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, some cases physical abuse. Okay. And I enabled that behavior. Over time, I enabled it and I allowed them to treat me whatever way they wanted to treat me. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't want to lose this person. I really didn't know what it was. I really did not know what it was. And it was like, damn, am I that? And my ex even told me, he said it flat out. And I'm looking at him like, wow, like, why would you say that? But he said, you know what? Sometimes I think you're only concerned about being in a relationship. That's all you're concerned about. There were things that he would say to me over the course of our relationship that were very disrespectful and very hurtful, but I could not say anything about it because I was afraid that if I said something, you really hurt my feelings, he was just going to lash at me, or he was going to say something like, something to the effect of, where he would threaten, maybe threaten to leave me, or maybe like, what, you just, this isn't going to work out, or whatever the case. So I just accepted things. I accepted certain things and things that I shouldn't have accepted. Okay. There have been plenty of times that I would go home feeling upset and feeling hurt because sometimes he would get nasty and rude and crude with me, and it would really screw up my whole day. And I could have had like a really good day. I could have been, a very jovial mood. And because his mood and because of how he felt, he projected it onto me. I took it in as, and it was my fault. Like, what did I do? Okay, why are you talking to me like that? Well, what are you talking about? I'm not talking to you any, you know what I'm saying? Like, I accepted so many different things. And, I think he saw that. He saw that. He saw that as, you're willing to take what I'm dishing to you, and you're not fighting me back. You're not fighting back. And that's another problem that we had, guys, especially for people who have stayed in longer dynamics longer. You were in the fog. Remember, guys, fear, obligation, and guilt. Okay, you were in the fog. You basically felt that, you obviously, clearly, there was that sense of fear that, you didn't want to lose the person. That was the same way. I didn't want to lose the person. I walked on eggshells. I made sure that I played the part. I made sure that, I tried my best to make him happy, to just keep everything on an even keel. If something happened on his end that had absolutely nothing to do with me, but I knew he was going to be in the most nastiest attitude, I wanted to avoid that, because even though that had nothing to do with me, I knew that I was going to get the back end of that. And I did not want that. I did not want it. So what did I do? I would try 10 times more to make the environment a warm environment, cater to him, be nice to him. And it wasn't being nice to him because, he has a nasty attitude. I was nice to this man. Okay. I was respectful, but I got in return a lot of the nasty, negative attitude, or, I got the brunt of whatever his anger was, whatever he was feeling. I got the brunt of it. And, it was really messed up, truthfully. Yes, conceded. They also craft situations to create insecurity with you. Yes, they do. That's triangulation too. It's pretty much like, I'm gonna set the stage, And it's funny, I was talking to my coworker on my way home, um, in the car, and I said, you know what? You have people that will try to do things to gain a reaction out of you, but they will also try to do things to figure out what would make you insecure. Because the bottom line is, I strongly believe everybody has an insecurity. It doesn't have to be anything major, but everybody has a form of insecurity. And there's nothing wrong with that. Society has pressured so many people. And with everything everything that's being exposed now and everything that's going on now, it's like it puts the pressure on so many people, because it's like when you have women that say, well, I have to, in order to find a good man, I got to go out there and get my ass done and get my hair done and get my lips done. And I got to, you don't have to do these things, but because society put that pressure, the narcissism in society alone has put so much pressure on people, especially people who are just, if you're like me, you're a regular person. You're a regular person. You don't sit there and put your boobs and your butt on the camera for likes. You don't sit there and try to impress everyone. You're not afraid to speak your truth, even if it means triggering other people's traumas. Because at the end of the day, it's like there are so many people that are still asleep and they need to start waking up. I can't, as many times as I've seen videos and photos of, these young girls getting these injections, getting these, and why is that? Why is that? Why is society, pushing to go in this direction? And then what happens? It creates that competition. It creates that competition amongst women, who has the best looking, the best looking body, or who has the best. And it's like that like where we used to be the type of women that would empower other women, now we're competing with other women. It just, society has been filled with so much narcissism, superficial narcissism, that it's like, it's acceptable. It's acceptable and it's accepted. And it's like it's just really sad. It really is sad. Second wave, I cut my narc almost 2 months ago. Oh yeah, okay, wait, yeah, I read that. I'm sorry. I let her play the game. I just sit back thinking she's on borrowed time. She tried me one last time, and when she got home that morning, I left her clothes on her porch and never looked back. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Everyone has their way of letting go. Everyone has their way of dealing with letting go. Um, some people, it's not easy. It's not easy because even if at that point in time that you're in the anger mode, you're in like that rage kind of mode, and you do certain things, it still does take time because now you have to, I don't know, second wave, I don't know how severe or how deep it was for you, but for a lot of other people, they were embedded so deep that it does take time because now everybody who's healing is pretty much rewiring. Now you're rewiring because you have just taken in so much throughout the course of your relationship. You had taken in so much, and this was all based on trauma, someone else's trauma created by someone else. At that, you're rewiring your brain. Some people may, listen, I think it's probably when it boils down to like the healing time, the healing effect, it might go through probably a bit faster for those who have secure attachment as opposed to those who have codependent attachments. Okay? Because those who were codependent were more, of course, the enablers, and they've probably lasted longer in a dynamic with a narcissist as opposed to someone who comes from a secure attachment and just, maybe overlooked a few things, but then said, no, this is not. They still have experienced their own pain and their own, trauma within it, but the healing process probably wouldn't be as long as opposed to someone who is in fact or was in fact a codependent. He goes, I went supernova and gave her a narc injury a few times. Her mask came off because I was too headstrong. Never argued with her. At the end, she became real insecure. Well, she's always been. Narcissists are always they're insecure. They're internally insecure. But them trying to put other people down and them trying to, wear that false mask around other people who really would have been just impressed by. See, the thing about narcissists is they spend their lives being around manipulators, being around, clearly narcissistic people within their own environment, within their family. And basically, they never really took the time to sit back for a second and say, this is who I truly am. This is how I truly feel about myself. Okay. And this, I have my traumas, I have this, I have that. I think because they have so much baggage, they don't look at genuine people and say, you're going to accept me for I'm going to say this in the most safest way I can possibly say it. You're going to accept me as the screwed up individual that I am because my parents screwed up with me. They don't look at genuine people and say that to themselves. They are, because they don't know that you're a genuine person from the beginning, like from just straight up meeting you. They don't know you're a genuine person. But over time, when they realize that you are a genuine person, you are a loving person, you are a caring person. I've read a few articles that said, and don't quote me on this because I don't even really think I believe it, but I've read a few articles, and one of them said, you can, I'm going to paraphrase it because this is not the exact quote, but it's kind of like you can help cure a narcissist. You can help if you give them unconditional love. if you give them the if you just basically show them that pure genuine love. And when I read this article, I'm just sitting there like, what the hell do y'all think victims have been doing all this time? What do you think we've been doing all this time? To sit here and say, well, a narcissist can learn the errors of their ways if you give them unconditional love. And it's like, that's so stupid. That is stupid. And I'm sorry, like I'm a firm believer in, unconditional love. I am a firm believer in that, but not with someone who clearly has just too much malice and evil within them. Only one who can take care of them and deal with them is God on that level. And by that, he has to severely humble them. Like, I don't even mean, I'm not saying that people aren't capable of helping people of this caliber, but let's be realistic here, guys. You gave as much love as you possibly could, and all they did was just take. That's all they did was take. They were like sponges. They just kept taking, and they gave you little to nothing in return. So when I see articles like that, and they're like, you got to try to stay optimistic. You guys decide what you want to do on that. But me personally, I spent almost 3 years trying my damnedest, trying my hardest to show that I'm a trustworthy person, I'm a trusting person, I'm a loving person, I'm a caring person, I'm a giving person. I have done all of this. And I'm not bragging. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, let me toot my own horn. No, I have done this because it came from my heart. And this was why when this shit hit me, it hit me hard, man. It wasn't just something that I woke up the next day and said, oh, well, relationship is over, 3 years down the drain. Guess I'll move on to the next one. No, dudes, it took me years to heal from this because my heart and my mind and my soul was embedded in this. And to be treated the way I was treated, and then to be just pretty much tossed aside like I was nothing, I strongly, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. And I'm not saying go out there and hate them and bash them and just get a mob squad on them. No, I'm saying, yo, let them deal with their own trauma, their own baggage on their own. Let them deal with it on their own. Okay? Abandonment is the one thing they fear most. They fear abandonment. They fear being left. They want their freedom. This is weird. They want their freedom. They want to be able to do what it is they can do, whatever it is they want to do, but they fear being abandoned. They fear people walking out on them, people leaving them behind. And it's like, you know what? You're going to have to deal with that on your own. Just like I had to deal with my healing on my own. I had to deal with this pain on my own. I didn't deserve any of that. And you pushed that onto me. And now, because narcissists will do that too. The guilt, they do that too. They give you the guilt of, you're just like everybody else. You're going to abandon me. You're going to walk out on me. Well, look at how you're acting. And look at what you're doing. Okay. And you expect everyone to sit here and stay and just stay in your presence? No. I when I read these articles, I mean, some people have valid points, but others were just like, if you give them that was their parents' job. That was their parents' job. Their parents' job was to teach them how to love. Their parents' job was to teach them how to discern, how to be properly loved, how to treat people. But because their parents were just as screwed up in the head, they projected onto their kids, and their kids projected onto somebody else's kids, which was you. Okay? And half the stuff that was done to me, guys, and half the things that was said to me, I never told my father. My father, you guys know my dad's in law enforcement. And I never told my dad because I said, you know something? If you were to know, especially considering that his grandson, you know, he I shudder to think what my father would have done. But at the end of the day, and knowing that these people can get with, with the narcissistic rage, with the, just the way they just completely like, they just kind of like, what's the word for it? Oh my gosh. It's even worse than destroy you. But it's just like they completely obliterated you, obliterated your thoughts on love, obliterated your ideas and ideals on relationships, and just totally, I don't know about you guys, but it just totally turned me off. Turned me off to the point that I just didn't want to be around anybody. I just didn't want to be involved with anybody, because it's like, damn, like you can invest so much of yourself and so much of your life into another individual and show them so much, and you still get treated that way. You're better off being alone. That's how I look at it. I'm better off being alone. I couldn't process what I was going through. And that's a lot of things that a lot of, especially new victims now that are going through it. Remember, guys, there's a new victim every single day. There's a new victim. Okay. There is especially with this pandemic, when you have people who are, stuck in the houses with these narcissists, or, it just is a new victim every single day. And they don't know what to expect. They don't know what they're going through. They cannot process it, because it's like their mind is in the fog. It's just, I get emotional when I think about it, because I know the pain. I know the pain, and I know the anguish, and just recently, I know that some of you guys saw the post that I put up. I had an ex of, it's going to be 10 years ago. And he recently had come to me to, well, how he found out. First of all, he messaged me. If you guys have read the post on my community board, his kid's mother pointed out to him that Eric is doing this content, or whatever the case may be, and she's talking about certain things. And you guys know that I use my personal experiences to let you know that hi Steven, how are you, sweetheart? You guys know that I use my experiences to tell you, that I understand what you're dealing with. I understand what you're going through. And so I guess she decided to message him and say, hey, check this link out. Look at what Eric is doing. Mind you, me and this person have not spoken in 10 years. Dude, like 10 years we have not spoken. And at the end of the day, even though I express my experiences, I'm still discreet. So in the middle of my live last week, I got a message on Facebook. And, you guys, like I said, if you guys seen it, I did not hide anything about it. And he had come forward and he apologized. He apologized, and, he took accountability. He acknowledged that, yes, he had problems, and so forth and so on. And I learned that, it's crazy how his kid's mother decides to do this. And she, listen, when we were together, when me and him were together, she gave us a lot of problems. But then again, you know what? Considering the situation at hand between he and I'm pretty sure during that time, the door was open for her to create those problems. So it was what it was. Water under the bridge. But she sent him this information to kind of come at me, to kind of just like, I don't know, probably yell, scream, argue, threaten, who knows. And my thing of it is that instead of doing that, he apologized. Okay. And I'm like, there would have been no reason to come and yell at me and scream at me and do any of these things, because everything that happened was the truth. Why am I going to say something happened if it didn't happen? Right. So and you know, looking at that, you know, I clearly see she's still bitter about the situation, okay, or whatever. I mean, the man is married. He's married. He's got his own family. He's doing his own thing. I don't bother him. Got no reason to. But clearly, that's a different story for her. But in light of all of it, you know, he didn't try. I mean, because like I said, I mean, even if he would have, it wouldn't have worked. It wasn't going to happen. But he didn't try to hoover me back in. He didn't try to, you know, listen, can we meet up and grab some coffee and sit and talk? He didn't do any of that. He was just like, you know what? I want to bring closure to you. Cool. I got my closure, even though I closed that chapter out a long time ago, but I appreciate it. And, you know, I gave him respect for it because what happened between us happened. But you know, looking at everything, guys, everything that you guys go through, everything that, you know, and you may not, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, you know, you may get the apology, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 20. Who knows? They may give it on their deathbed. I don't know. But you may not. And you may, you know, the best thing that I can say in this case, guys, I'm like being diverted for some reason and I don't know why. But when it boils down to, you know, coexisting with these people, being with these people, dealing with these people, loving these people, put it in God's hands. Just put it in God's hands. You know, these are the kind of people that you can't save. Okay. I was lucky enough to start this content, to start this channel. And though it was done under the, you know, intention of trying to create drama with me and cause problems with me and start with me, this person revealed to that other person, this is what she's doing. And, you know, God, maybe, I don't know, maybe God humbled him in the biggest way possible. And he wants to, because listen, a lot of people want to clear their karma. A lot of people are like, yo, I'm just dealing with way too much crap. Let me just apologize, you know. And at the end of the day, if that was the reason behind it, that's between him and God. But he admitted to his wrongdoings. He took accountability. He gave it to me. I took it. I accepted it. He goes his way. I go mine. These are the kind of people that you can't save. And I've told you guys this before. You cannot save them. You can't. Because you will, while you're trying to save them, you're going to be burying yourself. You tried saving them, whether you realize it or not. You tried to. You tried to help them in your relationship. You tried to help them, you know, with whatever situations they had going on. You tried to help them on so many different levels. And at the end of the day, it felt like everything that you were doing, it was being done in futility. It just was not working. And the reason is these people are broken. They're broken. And no matter how much of a front they put up, no matter how much of a mask they put on, no matter how much supply they go through, no matter who they're, you know, what they're doing, who they're doing, where they're doing it, does not matter. These people will always be who they are. They do not acknowledge they have problems. They do not acknowledge that they were wrong in situations. Some do. Maybe, you know, it may take a decade or so to happen, but some do. But in most cases, people of this nature, they're just pretty much embedded in that way of thinking, in that lifestyle. And I try to get through as many people as possible. Some, you know, for some people, it's harder to let go. Others, they just, you know, I'm letting go at the drop of a hat. All right, it is what it is. The key thing is facing it. You have to face it. You got to face the trauma. You got to face everything. I mean, listen, the second wave says that it only lasted about 5 months, their relationship. For some people, a lot can happen in 5 months. Okay, a lot can happen in 5 months. Like I said, if it's a codependent person, that person has a bigger chance of becoming more attached to the narcissist within that time frame, as opposed to someone else who is, you know, who's of a secure attachment, who is not codependent, who is, I'm good with you and I'm good without you. who's very autonomous. Codependent people are not autonomous. They need people in their environment. They need that emotional fulfillment, and they are going to, I don't say use because they don't use people, but they rely on people to emotionally fulfill them. A narcissist sees that. They see that. They see the codependent is insecure. They see the codependent will do anything to salvage the relationship. Of course, they're going to take advantage of it. Of course, they're going to go ahead and run with everything. Why not? I have the opportunity, not me, but, just speaking from the term of the narcissist, I have the opportunity to get away with so much stuff because you're willing to put up with anything that I do just so I don't walk out the door, just so I don't leave. When I was sitting in the car with my ex and he said, all right, we're going to give this one shot. But I'm telling you right now, you give me any fucking problems, it's over. So if I speak my truth, or if I say something that is affecting me and he knows it affects me, if I open my mouth and say, I have a problem with this, it's over. Okay? If he were to do something, that's when I knew it was over. When I sat in the car and when he said that, I said, you know something? You have twisted things around. You have managed to really just flip this whole thing on me. I don't know. And in my head, guys, when I'm doing, I don't know how you did it. I was sitting there because I was confused. I was just completely confused. I don't know how you managed to do it. I don't know how you managed to make this whole entire thing my fault. I don't know how you managed to make me feel like I'm the biggest burden you have ever had. I don't know how you managed to do it, how you managed to pull it off. And at that point in time, when he said that to me, I said, you know what? Don't do me any favors. You want it done? It's done. And he didn't want it over. He did not want it to be over with me. He wanted me as a friend. He wanted me to sit there and be in his harem. That's what he wanted. He wanted me to sit there and just be like, okay, I gave you 3 years, but you decided you're bored with me, or you decided that, you're not in love with me, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, okay, sure. I'm going to just flip the switch and be friends with you. Something just told me something's not right with this. Something is not right with this. And that whole situation that happened in the car, guys, that I told you about, that just confirmed it for me. That completely confirmed it for me. And over time, I understood. Over time, during my healing, over time, during my learning, I understood what the problems were. And it was not me. It wasn't me. Okay? And once I saw that you were trying to push me into the friend zone because you were getting your ego stroked, and all of this was going on because, listen, guys, and for you gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something, because I don't knock men. I don't bash men. I don't do any of that. Okay. And being a woman, clearly, women, we're kind of like used to the attention. I hi, relax, hi, sweetheart. We're kind of used to the attention, but it's not like a big deal for us, because you have guys that sit there and admit it. Listen, you women have bigger chances, and you have bigger effects when it boils down to attracting the attention of men and so forth and so on. And he was not an ugly dude. Clearly, he was not. He was a very attractive guy, but it was, and during our relationship, I noticed that there was that insecurity. There was insecurity amongst the both of us, but it was just pretty much putting a really big strain on our relationship. But looking back and seeing everything for what it was, I try to refrain from talking about it sometimes, guys, because it, like I said, it doesn't trigger my pain. It triggers my anger. It really triggers my anger, because the egotistical, egocentric, arrogant, the selfishness, and by selfishness, I mean him being emotionally selfish, just more so emotionally selfish. You know, like I looked at him like, yo, you don't give a damn about anybody else but your own feelings. And, you know, you're willing to sacrifice someone else's feelings just so you can feel good. That's a really fucked up trait. That's a really messed up trait and quality to have. But just looking back at everything and seeing that egotistical, arrogant, just, you know, I know you're hurting, I know you're crying, I know you're in pain, but look at me, I'm showing off, I'm doing all of this, I'm talking to, you know, because clearly, you know, there were females who were making it abundantly clear that he was talking to them. So, I mean, was it my imagination? Who knows? It doesn't really matter at this point. But the triangulation, the stonewalling, the silent treatment, the, you know, the narcissistic rage, the arrogance, the selfishness, the egotism, the egocentric behaviors, all of that just presented itself right then and there. And even though I was still caught in the fog and I was still caught in the daze, I eventually broke free from that. And that's something that I want you guys to also understand. Hi, Heather. Welcome, sweetheart. I'm glad you made it. You know, but this is who they are, guys. That person in the end is who they truly are. Okay? Now look back. That person that you saw each and every time getting nasty with you, that person that was giving you backhanded comments, that was pretty much like, you know, covering it with, oh, I was joking around. Oh, you're too oversensitive. Oh, you don't know how to, you know, all of that. The person who was omitting information, the person who was being selective on what you do and don't know, the person who was sitting there bashing and shaming and doing, that was who they truly are. That's who they truly are. And that's who they have been for a very long time. And if you think that you can save them, you can't. You can't. They've been doing this for God knows how long. It's been going on for God knows how long. And this was stuff that was pretty much taught to them. And because they managed to get away with it, listen, is he a victim himself? He is. He is a victim of it. He's a victim of it. And he projected that crap onto me. But clearly, I'm not projecting it onto somebody else. I'm not dealing with other people. I refuse to deal with other people because I'm not going to subject someone to that kind of behavior. But he clearly took out on me what was done to him and kind of just projected all of the nastiness and all of the crude and rude and just disgusting behaviors onto me, had me feeling like something was wrong with me. I was super insecure, did not know what to do, didn't know which direction to go in, didn't know anything. And all of this was because during the course of our relationship, he saw my insecurities. He saw the things I reacted to. He saw the things that I would maybe talk to him about, or maybe point out, or maybe address. He saw these things. And when a narcissist knows what your trigger point is, if they know what your insecurity point is, if they know that your insecurity is, I don't know, let's say being alone, you know, let's say you didn't have a fear, but you just, you know, you didn't like being alone. They would clearly, during the course of your relationship, do things that would make you reactive, but then snap at you because you're reacting. So they do things on purpose that will make you reactive. And when you react on it, you respond to it, they will then flip it around, twist everything you say around, and use it against you. All because they learned your insecurities. They learned things about you. They learned what makes you tick. They learn what makes you mad or what makes you feel uncomfortable. Okay? They learn all of these things about you. That's why in the end, when it boiled down to the discard kind of, if you really think about it, guys, just really think about it. The discard resembles what would trigger your insecurities, because they learn these things about you. You understand? So if you know, I don't know, let's say if you were physically abused, in your other relationships, and they never really like put their hands on you, like, in the beginning, or even during the middle of your relationship. But at some point, they started getting more aggressive. They started getting more abrasive. They started becoming more, like just more brutal, more brutes. That's going to trigger that insecurity, So to the point where they'll become extremely aggressive and maybe like, make certain maneuvers or make certain gestures that they know you're going to associate with they're basically associating that with your insecurity. So if you were physically abused throughout your relationships, they might do certain things. They might get extremely aggressive to kind of make you back down. So they might not put their hands on you, but they're going to get extremely vocal and extremely aggressive towards you, instilling that fear, triggering that part of you, and kind of make you back down because your fear of possibly, getting them striking you or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing with when it boils down to the triangulation and the discard, when it's, dealing with a third party. Okay. If you have a history of, dealing with people who are cheaters, serial cheaters or whatever, and you've managed to express that to the narcissist, or, the narcissist can, tell, okay, you have some kind of trust issues, you have insecurities. It involves a third party. So you have a fear that I'm going to cheat on you. You have a fear that I'm going to do these things or whatever the case may be. I know your insecurity. I know your fear. And now I know how to discard you when the time comes. Okay? Very sad, guys. Very sad and very messed up. Extremely messed up. Hi, Butch. Hey, everybody. Hi, Erica. When I went to therapy, that's why my therapist had me write down all of the bad things, red flags, so my magic magnifying mind doesn't change. Hold on one second. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, Butch, that's one thing I tell people also is, whenever, like, in relationships, period, if people are in relationships that are rocky, it doesn't even have to be with a narcissist, but if you're in a relationship and it's just not going well, or it's not going the way you anticipated, or whatever the case may be, writing a list is good. Pros and cons of things, and seeing, because obviously if the cons outweigh the pros, you clearly know that there's a lot of problems. You clearly know that this is not going to work, because clearly the bad outweighs the good. But in this case, I mean, what your therapist is pretty much, your therapist is pretty much telling you to write down. It says write down all the bad things, red flags. So your mind, when you decide to get into another relationship, if you should decide to do so, or if you decide to take on a friendship or whatever the case may be, you know how to decipher certain behaviors. You know how to, so you can stop it before it even begins, or you can stop it before it progresses. The narcissists are extreme manipulators. They're very, very manipulative. They're very conniving people. So they will, they'll lay on that mask real thick. Okay, they will lay on that mask real thick, especially if it boils down to a victim that they've already managed to abuse. They've managed to, and again, and I have to continuously repeat this, guys, because people correlate abuse with just being physical, and that's not the case. Okay, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological, spiritual, energetic, it's all abuse. It is all abuse. So just because the narcissist did not put their hands on you, but they were verbally abusing you, that is still abuse. Okay? Manipulation, being extremely manipulative, that is abuse. It's abuse. So if people are trying to, flip it around and say, oh, well, it's not like they put their hands on you. The hell does that matter? It doesn't matter if they put their hands on me or not. Abuse is abuse. Straight up. Let's see. Heather, silent treatments, cheating, bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Heather, I had trust issues with cheating. That's why they did it. Yes. I hadn't seen it yet, Heather, so I'll check it when I'm done with the live tonight. But yeah, no, abuse definitely, no matter what caliber it is, it's abuse. You know, if you have someone in your life who even tries to play on your insecurities, you know, knowing that, like, for example, if they are like, say for example, if you had a problem with your weight and you kind of like, you know, you felt a little insecure about your weight or whatever the case may be, and clearly the narcissist knows this. They know that you are looking to lose a couple of pounds or whatever the case. As a sadistic way of doing things, I find this to be extremely disrespectful. I find it to be extremely insulting. And it's just really, really sad. I think this is also one of the reasons, guys. I don't know if you remember, Instagram had a function. They had a function where you can see your activity and then you can see the activity of the people that you're following. And you can see the pages of, you know, like the pages of the people or the pictures that they liked or whatever. That function was removed for a reason, guys. Okay? It was clearly removed for a reason, because if you were dating someone and they had an Instagram and you clearly are following one another, and this is a matter of fact the best example to give in dealing with a narcissist. Okay? If you were dating someone and I'm sorry, guys. I thought that was a spider coming down from my ceiling. I was about to just scream, like jump out of my seat. But if you were dating someone and, you know, you can clearly, y'all are following each other. If they are following people of either the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever your preference is, and you went onto the activity log, you can see the pictures of the people that they were liking. So this perfect example in when dealing with a narcissist. If you were someone who was trying to lose a few pounds, you already felt kind of unattractive, you know, you're feeling a little insecure about yourself, and they're clearly not giving you the validation that you're searching for. They're clearly not being very sensitive to your needs, your wants, you know, your feelings. If you were to check, like, go onto that function on Instagram and see, you would see them liking all of these other pictures of different females. Okay? Different females or males, whatever it is. I'm using a woman's reference because I'm a woman, so I always put myself in the first seat. But you can see them liking different people's pictures, and that is to play on your insecurity. That's to play on your insecurity, because they know that you see their activity. They know you can see when they are liking someone's pictures, when they're double tapping on everything. They're just going crazy, like to the point where they'll get carpal tunnel syndrome. They're just liking other people's pictures. And a lot of the time, that's how sadistic they are. They do that on purpose to hurt you. Or even if you were just dating someone, you're with them and they would clearly feel some kind of way, if you're liking another person's photos, if you're liking another person's, because the thing of it is remember what I told you guys, is that do as I say, not as I do type of behavior. So they could like people of the opposite sex, you know, people that are outside of your dynamic. Let's just put it that way. They can like all of those pictures and double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap on everybody's. But the minute they see you do it with other people, well, who's this person? Who's that person? Where do you know this person from? Who's this person? You understand? That's their game. That's their game. Yeah, Heather, you know, when it boils down to cheating, when it boils down to cheating for narcissists, their go-to is dating sites. Their go-to is dating sites because they would get a a good ample amount of supply. Okay. A lot of us use dating sites. We've used dating sites. We've used dating sites to meet the people that we've dealt with. You know, some people prefer dating sites over going out there in person and talking to people. I happen to be one of them. I don't like to go outside and, you know, just start talking to random strangers on the streets. But not everybody who uses a dating site is a narcissist. But when it boils down to cheating, yes, they'll use dating sites to interact with other people. If they are, you know, in intimate settings with you, intimate moments with you, when they get moments, yes, they will actively text other people while in front of you. They'll text other people while in front of you. They'll talk to other people while in front of you. You know, they're very good at what they do, guys. They're extremely good at what they do. Okay. And they have this, I don't know what it is, but they have this way of making you feel bad and making you feel guilty for them doing it. They deflect onto you. You know, it's like you could sit there and say, oh my God, how could you do this to me? How could this happen? How could you be this way? You know, where did we go wrong? And no matter what their answer is, you are the root of the problem. You're the root of their issues. You're the root of why they did what they did. They're always going to blame you. They're always going to blame you for what wrongdoings. They're going to always find a reason to blame you. And they'll stick to that. They'll stick to it to the point where they believe their own reasoning. You know, it's really, really sad. And Heather, I'm sorry that, you know, that you had to, that you went through that. But a tumultuous relationship is a word or term did my therapist use, so I had to look the word up. Yeah, yeah, tumultuous is actually the perfect word for it, because just in itself, tumultuous is like, you could just tell it's something, you know, tumultuous, catastrophic. It just so many different ways to phrase it, but evil is the only thing I can think of. Like, a narcissist is someone who just really walks with evil in their heart. And I mean, let me rephrase that. Evil in place of their heart. They walk with that. They walk with that. They don't care who they hurt. They're about instant gratification. They're about, you know, the now. That's how they are. They're about what I can get now, how I'm feeling now, what I want now, what I need now. They don't think about the consequences. They don't think about the repercussions. They don't think about any of it. Okay. And when they see that what they have done, you know, what they really deceived you for, even though it doesn't work for them, if they know that there's no chance of being able to come back to you, they're going to stick with that until they can find something else. Okay. They're going to basically be like, well, hesitantly, I really don't want to deal with this supply, but I have no choice, because this person's not going to let me back in. They're not going to let me, you know, come back into their lives. So I have no choice but to deal with this. I have to deal with this until what happens? Until they turn that one into a victim and they work on someone else. Steven, I caught my ex cheating via gaming app. That's just crazy. With the new partner with him and her as a profile pic. And when I caught her, she was upset for me catching her doing it. I wish I had an answer for that, Stephen, because it's just, How dare you? How dare you find out that I'm dealing with someone else while I'm in a relationship with you? How dare you snoop? How dare you look through my things? How dare you go peeking through my social media? How dare you go and, be stalkerish and look through all of my stuff? And it's always that how dare you moment. How dare you? So I was like, let's forget the fact that you were cheating with someone on this gaming app, but we're just going to completely ignore that, and we're just going to go right into I'm the stalker, I'm the snooper, I'm the one looking through your stuff. Been there, done that, honey. Trust me. It doesn't. It's always going to be your fault. It's your fault she cheated. It's your fault that she went and decided to kick it with another dude. It's your fault. And then not only was it your fault, but you have the audacity to go looking through her things and found the truth. They managed to turn it and flip it, and it's sad. It really is sad. When you get to educating yourself and observe them, you truly understand they're not capable if they're not aware of self or other. A true narc is quite empty, sad to say. Everything is a double standard with them. Yes, they are. Yes. Yes. Everything is, it's do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do. And I've had that. That has been presented like, listen, I don't know about you guys, but if I was in a relationship where I felt like I had to be at attention and I had to be like on my toes. I had to make sure that what I said did not rub them the wrong way. I had to make sure what I said did not come out the wrong way because they were going to take it the wrong way. I had to make sure that, the things that I did, I had an answer for everything. Like it's not to say like I was in military school because, it wasn't to the point where he controlled me that I was, like he owned me, but it was to the point of I'm trying so hard to not tick him off. I'm trying so hard to show him that I'm an honest, loving, caring person. And I'm trying so hard to alleviate what issues he has going. You just do everything in your power. And the thing of it is that no matter what you do, if you end up doing something that does not rub them the right way, it doesn't have to be intentional, but if you do something that makes them feel some kind of way, or it triggers their insecurity, it triggers their, their trauma, it triggers their jealousy, they're gonna they're very passive aggressive. So they're not, they may not come out and flat out tell you. They will do it in a passive aggressive way. Okay. They'll do it in a passive aggressive way. They'll make you feel like shit about it. Instead of just saying, Stephen, this right here, this situation right here, I want to sit down and talk about it. I want to communicate about this. Let's sit and talk. No, they won't do that with you. They will not do that with you. What they'll do is they will make you feel like crap. And in relation to whatever it is that is bothering them. And then you're like, what? What are you talking about? What is the problem? I've been accused of so much shit. I have been accused of so much stuff. And I look back at it, and they do say a narcissist accusations is really their confessions. I can't say that about them because I don't know for a fact, because there was a lot of stuff that I did not have clarity on, but people do say that. Kelly, hi for justice. Welcome, my love. Yep. Feeling rushed and anxious all the time, just waiting for us to say one wrong thing or move your eyebrow funny. Here comes the story. Yes. 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 You try so hard not to rock the boat. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to piss them off. You don't, if they're having a bad day, you try to talk to them like in a calm, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if they're in a bad mood, they're going to take it out on you. If you notice, they don't take it out on their friends. Oh, they don't take it out on their friends. They don't take it out on other people. They take it out on the person or the people that they use as emotional punching bags. Okay? They take it out on other people that they use as emotional, because we absorb it. Because they look at it this way. I've been doing X, Y, and Z throughout the entire relationship. I've been talking to you like crap, all while I'm mixing it in with good behaviors, with the I love yous and the sympathy and the empathy. And they basically just they take it up a notch every time. They take it up a notch every time. And I've had to be in that situation where I would just be like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel. I want to feel some kind of way about this, but I'm afraid if I tell him what this right here makes me uncomfortable, I already know what he's going to say. I already know. Whoa, you're just trying to control things. You're trying to do this. I already know. Okay. I one time, this was probably the biggest red flag, one of them that I should have probably just ended it right then and there, when I sat down and I said to him, look, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel, but I just want you to know that I think, and this was the beginning, guys, I just want you to know that I think, you should take my feelings into consideration. Keyword being consideration. And the response I get, you know what? Why don't we just get married tomorrow? Why don't we just go and get married tomorrow? That was clearly, I'm telling you in a nice way, just take me into consideration. And you are taking that as, you know what? Why don't I just have you, give you my last name? Why don't I just move in with you? Why don't I just do all of this so you can have the say so? You got all of that with, can you please take me into consideration? Take my feelings into consideration? Yeah, that's what I had to deal with. So taking me into consideration was a problem. You're dealing with someone who is emotionally detached, dismissive. If you're dealing with someone who's extremely narcissistic, if you're dealing with a narcissist, if you're dealing with anyone of this caliber, your feelings will not be considered. They will not be considered. And I noticed that when I would stand up for myself, where I would get tired and I wouldn't disrespect them, but I would stand up for myself and I would tell them, no, you're not going to talk to me like this. No, you're not going to act like this with me. I noticed that when I would put my foot down and not threaten him, I wouldn't threaten to leave, I wouldn't threaten to do those things, but I would put my foot down and I would say, you're not going to treat me like how other people treated you. And you're not going to look at me like I'm your ex. Because at the end of the day, she's a whole nother person. That ain't me. And if you're looking at me like you're looking at her, then maybe you shouldn't be looking at me at all. When I would put myself in that position to stand up for myself, that he saw there was some kind of strength, like, oh, wait, she's got strength. See, that's the thing. They don't bank on you having strength. They try to break it down. In the beginning, you have strength. You guys, all of you had strength before you started dealing with people like this. Because, in the beginning, you were, well, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I deserve. You knew all of this, guys. And because people you dealt with in your past relationships, maybe they weren't narcissists. Maybe they were just assholes. Maybe they were just, little manipulative twats, but they weren't narcissists. And you managed to see through their bullshit. And you're like, nope, not dealing with this. moving on to, moving on with my life. You went through the motions, you went through your pain. When you started dealing with the narcissist, you were the strongest you were ever going to be. Because that point when you came in contact with the narcissist, you were basically beginning the journey to the new person that you needed to become. Okay? Because dealing with them, the beginning, what are you? You're smart, you're funny, you're happy-go-lucky, you're strong, you know what you want, you know what you're going to put up with, you know what you're not going to put up with, because you did not expect to deal with what you dealt with. You were not prepared for that. You were prepared to deal with someone who is like, okay, nah, you already, because people who are just like flat out upfront about their bullshit, it comes out. It comes out and you're like, oh, no. Because you see it in the beginning. You're like, no, I'm good. Don't want to deal with you. That's it. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with someone who's wearing a mask. You're dealing with someone who is not showing you who they really are. It's trickling in over time. But as it's trickling in, they are conditioning you. You were dealing with someone who was conditioning you to believe certain things, to accept certain things. So all of that stuff that you were not going to put up with anybody, the nonsense, the cheating, the bullying, none of that. You did not put up with it with anybody else. Why? Because they showed you straight up. They showed you who they were. You said, nope, I'm out. Not a narcissist. The narcissist, they put on that mask, they laid on that charm, and they had you, they were reeling you in. They were reeling slowly. Narcissists ain't got nothing but time, honey. And they were reeling you in. And throughout that whole entire time, they were conditioning you to believe. They were conditioning you to believe that everything you ever believed in before you met them goes out the damn window. And you are playing on their playground. They looked at you like you were in Dorothy and you were not in Kansas anymore. That's how they looked at you. Yes, Kelly, absolutely. Wait. Okay, for justice, my ex used to straight up tell me he didn't give a fuck about my feelings. Just like that too. After a while, yeah. Because when they're going through the discard justice and they're like dealing with new supply, they're dealing with new people. When they've locked in something else, when they have locked in your replacement, when they have locked in all that is filling up their ego, all that is stroking them, sorry for the gesture, guys, but I'm very honest. All that's doing that, they don't care anymore if the mask falls off with you, okay? Because they're wearing a totally different mask for someone else. They're wearing a totally different mask for other people. They don't care if you see them for who they truly are. And they're like Jason. When the mask comes off, what do you see? You see worms, you see nasty, just a whole horrible, horrid looking face. That is truly how the narcissist is. They have a good looking face, they have a beautiful face, but they have the ugliest souls. They have a very ugly soul, okay? And I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating. The devil does not come with the horns. He does not come with the grotesque looking face. He does not come with fire surrounding him. He comes in the form of light. He comes with, I'm here for you. What do you need? I care about you. Tell me what you desire. Tell me what you want, and I will give it to you. Tell me anything you need, and I will give it to you. That is how the devil comes. He comes in what it is he thinks you desire, what it is he thinks will pretty much trap you. And that's how a narcissist is. A narcissist is pretty much a soul intertwined with the devil. That's pretty much. It's like when they were kids, when they were youngins, that cutoff point was like 5 years old, and the devil took over from there. It's like their parents sold their souls to the devil. That's pretty much, if we had to talk in spiritual terms, their parents sold their souls, their kids' souls to the devil. And they've inflicted, and they basically just projected all of that. Those behaviors. They normalized that behavior, they normalized that bullshit, and they just pushed it onto their kids, and they said, okay, you're ready to go out into the world. And they push their kids out into the world to go interact and mingle with other people's kids, okay? And all the havoc and the drama that they cause. And this is what happens. Butch, do you feel that this is learned behavior? Because my conditioning began early on. I didn't know it was so subtle. My ex has a history of cheating. I just thought it would never happen to me. Yeah. Well, considering the fact, Butch, that your ex has a history of cheating, on you or just in general? Because, you know, some people, like, they cheat and people will be like, okay, I'll give you another chance, you know, giving the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Unfortunately, a lot of people live up to that saying. And, you know, it's really like, I cheated on you. I got away with it. I managed to get your forgiveness. I managed to get you to let me back into your life. And, you know, because I already see that, you know, you clearly still have a soft spot for me. You clearly still have feelings for me. I can pretty much do what I want, get away with it, and just come with the crocodile tears and the I'm sorry's, and I'll change for you. And I know you'll let me back in. And unfortunately, you have people who do fall for that. You really do. He was insensitive like that for a long time. He was a cold person. Yeah, you know what, for justice, that was all within him. That was all within him. That was him. Okay? Him, his trauma, his issues, his problems. That was all him. And because you're nothing like him, okay, because you are nothing like him, and because you can sustain emotions and feelings and, you know, genuineness, you can sustain these things. You don't need to bounce around from person to person to be happy. You don't need to rely on other people to be happy. You don't need to leave someone for someone else to be happy, you know, clearly. And I remember what you had told me when you messaged me, and that, you know, the stuff that he did, it's just what he was doing at that time. When you messaged me, I told you it was mind games. He's trying to keep you stuck. Narcissists try to keep you stuck. They do not want their exes moving on. They don't want them moving on at all. Okay? At all. They want to stay in your life no matter what the role, no matter what the position, because they want to always make sure that, one, they know what's going on in your life. Two, they have some form of position to have some form of control in your life. Three, they want to be able to sneak their way back in when the time calls for it. Okay? They want to, and listen, even if you have kids with them, you do not have to be, and that was the one thing that just drove me nuts. You don't have to be friends with them. You could be cordial with them. You can be very, you know, one-on-one with them. Listen, it's about the kids, and that is it. But you have people who maintain that trauma bond. You have people who stay within that trauma bond. You have a lot of victims who are going through the motions and just don't know how to release that trauma bond. Guys, it took me a while before I could release the trauma bond. Because even, I would say 6 months after the initial discard, I was still stuck in it, where I was reaching out to this person. I was still in it, guys. I'm not going to lie about that. The first few months, I saw what was going on. I saw what he was doing. And I erased myself. I took myself off. And then when he hit me up afterwards, he hit me up around my birthday, and it's like, what is this? It's you do all of this and now you want to slap me in my face? So I said, thank you. It's cool, whatever. But he knew what he was doing, because when he hit me up on my birthday, I didn't talk to him for 3 months, guys. About almost 3 months. I didn't talk to him. I had decided to just stay away. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let it go and I'm going to move on. What does he do? He hits me up on my birthday. And that opened it up for me, because that feeling came in. That feeling of, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, why am I feeling this way? I was fine on my own. I was going through the motions, but I was doing it on my own. I had not spoken with him for 3 months, and I'm getting in my healing. And I'm in the middle of my driving class. I'm in the middle of my class, and I didn't block him at the time. I didn't delete his phone number at the time. I hadn't done any of that yet. But in the middle of my class, I'm sitting there in my classroom, and I have my headphone in. I had a certain ringtone for him. When I'm sitting there listening to the teacher, the tone went off. And that instantly, as soon as I heard that tone, my heart started jumping. My heart was jumping. I had never felt so much fear and anxiety in my life, guys. Never felt so much fear and anxiety. And I felt it. And I sat there and I'm like, I couldn't breathe. And it may sound like, okay, Erica, because for some people, guys, some people will look at it like, okay, that's a little over dramatic even for you. No, you don't know what I went through. People who do not understand do not know what I went through. And I'm sitting there about to have a freaking anxiety attack right in the middle of my classroom because I heard the ringtone on my phone. And I look at the message, and the message said clear as day, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. I just want to wish you a happy birthday. You knew. And you want to wish me a happy birthday? And I had to play that off. I had to because I could not let him know that I was anxiety filled. I could not let him know that I was hurting. I could not let him know that everything he had done had an effect on me. That was him testing the waters. That was him reaching out to me to test the waters. That is what they will do, guys. They will test the waters. After everything they did to you, after everything they said to you, after every feeling they made you feel, they're still going to come and try to test the waters. Maybe some time will go by. Maybe she'll get over it. Maybe, no. Erica does not forget. Erica does not forget. I can tell you the lunch I've had in fucking kindergarten class. I do not forget. And I'm sitting there. My heart is pounding. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I played it off. And I said, thank you. I appreciate it. Blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But that's where I screwed up. I messed up because I was doing no contact. And I messed up because afterwards, I messaged him. And I even called him. And we were on the phone for about an hour talking. And it felt like when we first met. And we were sitting on the phone and we were just talking for an hour, just talking about so many different things. And it was like we were like if we were in that stage of the relationship when we were in the beginning. And even though that feeling felt good, even though I was like, maybe things are different for him. Maybe things are changing for him. I don't know. Maybe this, maybe that. No. God reassured me, ain't nothing changed. Nothing has changed. And you need to continue going forward. He reassured me on that. And he made sure that I understood that. And he showed me nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I saw that nothing has changed. Even after all of that. Something told me, go ahead, Erica. You know what? You want to know so much? You mind you guys, I was incognito for a few months. I had no social media. I had nothing. I'm thinking all that time, maybe he's thinking about me. Maybe he's thinking about the pain he caused me. Maybe he's feeling bad. Maybe he's feeling guilty. He was not feeling guilty. You know what he was doing? He was still sitting up there on IG posing and doing this and doing that, impressing everybody else. That's what he was doing. I'm sitting there thinking, maybe he's, maybe he's thinking about me. Maybe he misses me. Maybe he sees that Erica. No. That was, God showed me that. God said, okay, you want to think this? Go take a look. Go take a look and see what's going on. Go ahead, go take a look. You think he's sitting at home crying for you? You think he's sitting at home losing sleep for you? You think he's worried about you? You think he cares about you? You think all of this. Cool. You want to think that. I'm giving you another chance. So I'm going to tell you right now. I go and I look. No, nothing changed. Nothing changed. I saw it with my own two eyes. Nothing has changed. And you know what? That's when I decided I need to shut this shit down and I need my closure. And that's when I sent him the letter, and that's when I did what I had to do. And until this day, guys, until this day, and I can tell you, I sent him the letter February, March, April. I think it was April of 2000. What are we in? 2021? 2019, 18. I think it was April of 2018. It's going to be 3 years. 3 years. And the only reason why a year after I I mailed that letter, the only reason I bumped into him was because we actually happened to bump into each other in the street. How you doing? I'm good. How are you? Yeah, little conversation or whatever, but I held my own. And amazingly enough, because I managed to really see things for what it truly was, that's why when I bumped into him, I didn't have an anxiety attack. I did not have any kind of worries. And ever since then, ever since that moment when I saw, oh crap, I can actually live. I can actually breathe. I can actually be. I walk in that area every single day. And I walk with my head high, not giving a fuck who sees me, not giving a damn who has anything to say. Because at the end of the day, I did the work. I did my healing. I did what I have to do. And I'm here with you, lovely people. Go figure, right? Yes, Andrea. Yes. Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's why I say if ever you deal with someone who has done that to you and they hit you up randomly or on a certain occasion, I've changed. Things have changed. Okay. God's going to show you otherwise. Trust me. And I guarantee you this much. If I had fallen for it, and I actually said, you know what? I'm gonna let me go back to this. Maybe he's changed. And I didn't bother looking. I didn't bother seeing things. I didn't bother going back to, how the hell you guys think I found out about the whole shit with him and his baby moms? Come on now. God knows. God knows what's in my heart. And he's like, nah, I'm not letting you go through this again. That's how I found out. Because I went and I looked. He told me, look. I said, okay. I was afraid to look at first because I was afraid of how I was going to feel. I was afraid I was going to be triggered. I was just afraid that it was going to bring me back to that place. And when I looked, that's when I reactivated my accounts. When I looked and I saw everything, and I was like, nothing has changed. You have not changed. You have not changed one freaking bit. So much so to the point that you not only have not changed, but you used your BM as a way to what? To numb, to deal with it? Get that hold on. She can have them. Listen, I'm good. I am good. And I saw that it didn't affect me. I didn't sit there crying. I didn't sit there looking like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I actually was laughing. I was laughing because after all of this, everything that I had went through, I was the real one. I was the loyal one. I was the truthful one. I was the one who was trying to give this man the world on a silver platter. And he decided to betray me and my trust for the same people that were screwing him over, that were shaming him behind his back, that were laughing behind his back, that were stealing from him, that was doing all kinds of stuff. He decided to do that. That's not my problem. Not my problem. I told God, your will be done. I gave my will up to God. I said, your will be done. You showed me. I see it. I see it for what it is. And that's when I started doing the channel, guys. That's when I started to do my work, and I started to take my pain and use it in a more positive way, and a way to tell you guys that, child, I've been there. I have been there, and I know what you're going through. I know what you went through. I know how you're feeling. But I'm going to tell you, you are going to be tested at times, and you have to make sure you pass those tests. Okay, no matter how much the devil tries to come at you, the devil's going to try to stick a piece of chocolate and a piece of shit in gold and give it to you and say, here's a gold nugget. Still shit and gold, guys. It's not worth it. It's not. But my ex cheated on her ex, and we had got together. I'm sure I need supply. And it's been 14 years we've been together, and I was ghosted and discarded. I had to work on my own closure. And that's the hardest part, Bush. That's the hardest part. Working on your own closure, because lack of clarity, no closure, it's enough to drive someone insane, because we're human. We like to see closure in things. We like to just get a definitive answer, and that way we can close the door. And they purposely do this. They purposely do not give you closure or clarity because they want you to drive yourself insane. They don't expect you. This is why I say, guys, work on your closure. If you need closure, you need to do it for yourself, because they don't expect you guys to do that. They don't expect you guys to do any of that. They expect you to just sit there and biting your nails like, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I feel? I don't know. They want you to stay confused. They want you to stay stuck. And then amazingly enough, when some time has gone by, they want you to get over it. It's sad. It's sad. It truly, truly is. Heather, they said I used to love you. In the end, I was hurting inside. You know what, honey? They it's sad to say it, but their idea, because that's not love. Love does not hurt you. Love does not make you jealous. Love does not make you feel like shit. Doesn't make you feel any of those things. It does not. Okay? What she had was not love. It was just clear-cut manipulation. And it still hurts. It still hurts because you felt that genuine love. And I've spoken to you, Heather, plenty of times. And I feel the kind of soul that you have. You have a very, very genuine heart. So I'll tell you straight up, God did you a favor. He did you a favor. He showed you who this person is, and he led you to where you are now. You know, you may be watching these videos and you're learning more because that's what he wants everyone to understand. Knowledge is power. Take this knowledge and utilize it. Utilize it so that way you know how to discern. So when you meet someone, you know what to do, what not to do, what you do deserve, what you don't deserve, what to accept and what not to accept. Okay, this is an experience, guys. It's a lesson. That's all it is. It's a lesson that you had to learn so that way you know what to do the next time you have someone come across your path. So whenever the devil tries to throw another curveball at you, you swing that shit, knock it out the park. You understand? That's what the whole point of it was. That's what the lesson was about. Yeah, Andrea, they always know what they're doing for justice. It makes me sick to my stomach drops. I've been there, Justice. I've been there. Trust me. I felt so sick to my stomach that I was completely repulsed. It's just a disgusting feeling. It's a repulsive feeling. And at the end of the day, you still need that. You need that because you need that to not consume you, but you need that to keep you motivated, to continue. Remember the message you put under my post. And I want you to stay in that attitude, stay with that same energy. You're going to need that for a while. You're going to need it for a while because I need you guys to be in a stage of indifference. And indifference is no love, no hate, literally nothing at all. Stephen, I always felt for the crocodile tears because I thought it was genuine and sincere. And I would feel like the bad guy. That guilt. They make you feel guilty for trying to be logical, trying to be understanding to a situation, or pointing out certain flaws, certain flaws in the dynamic, or trying to communicate about certain things. And it's like, you try to communicate with them, you try to talk to them, and they'll be like, you always have a problem with something. What is the problem now? Why is this? Why that? They just they make you feel bad for expressing yourself to them. They make you feel bad for opening up and saying what's on your mind. And they flip it, dude. They flip it around to the point where it's like, you're apologizing. Don't ever apologize. But they flip it to the point where you're apologizing to them for being honest with your feelings, for being honest with, with how you're standing up for yourself. You're apologizing to them. You're apologizing to them when they're being nasty to you. You're apologizing to them when they're cheating on you. You're apologizing to them for the crap that they're doing. Something's wrong with that, right? I mean, I know I'm not the only one who sees something is wrong with that picture. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, it takes the strength of God. It takes the strength of God because, I was in deep. I wasn't in deep. I loved the man. I'm not even going to deny that. I did. I loved him. I cared about him. I did want to see him happy. I wanted him to be happy. That was the whole point of putting forth so much into the relationship. But you can't make someone who doesn't believe. You can't make them believe. You can't make them happy. You can't make them, they have to listen. At the end of the day, that man walked with a lot of trauma. He walked with a lot of shit that happened in his past. He walked with a lot of baggage, and it was taken out on me. I had my own doings in the relationship, but nothing near what he did. And at the end of the day, he chose his path. I chose mine. And I'm not, I don't hate him. I just don't see myself. I can't be around people I don't respect. I can't be around people that I have little to no respect for. So, whatever he chose to do, that's definitely on him. But that's amazing you mentioned now, because I've heard it a few times and I like to repeat it. God would do for you, you can do for yourself. I would have never left her. It's everything, that they say that everything done in the dark comes to light, right? It all comes to light. Everything that's being done in the dark will always come to light, because though you don't have eyes in the back of your head, God is always watching. He's always watching, and he always sees. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. And there have been times that you were trying to, he was trying to warn you about what was going to take place. And those were the red flags. But there have been times that we ignore them. We ignore them. He doesn't affect our free will, but he is going to give us certain signs. He's going to show us certain things that we need to take into account. And we ignore them because he wanted us to avoid that outcome. How many people who have been victims of narcissistic abuse did not even make it out alive? We got to take that into account too. There are people who are victims, who were victims of narcissistic abuse that did not make it out alive. Whether it was at the hands of the abuser or even themselves. This is why I go so hardcore. This is why I tell you guys, don't be afraid. Don't listen, message me if you feel you need to. Let me know, because it can get a lot more worse. It can get more dangerous. It could get bad. It can get bad. Narcissism isn't just about arrogance. It's not just about taking pictures and just being selfish. It's not just about that. Because if you have someone who's a narcissist coupled with a mental illness, coupled with, sociopathic tendencies, or, malignant narcissist, it can become extremely dangerous. It can be dangerous, guys. You can have someone who is bipolar and be a narcissist. Yes, you can have that too. You can have someone who has a mental illness and it's coupled with a personality disorder. In fact, one would heighten the other. You can. Hi, Green. Welcome, sweetheart. For justice, right? But then they can say whatever the hell they want. Yeah, it's always been that way. It's always been that way. That's why I tell people, just ignore. Don't bother with them. Don't bother them. Don't bother with them. Just kind of go your own way. Do your own thing. Don't let what they do or what they say, even though it's hard not to take it personal, don't take it personal. Because everything they have done, everything they have, the lashings, the triangulation, the narcissistic rage, all of that, it was all projection. That's all it was. All projection. It was not you. Okay? You got your own shit to deal with. You do not need to be taking on someone else's trauma. You don't need to do that, guys. Heather, I can't be around people I don't trust. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. If you show me I can't trust you with my life, I can't trust you with my kid. I'm not going to be around you. It's not going to happen. Hello, Kitty. I stopped talking to the narcissist's mother. I just didn't trust her. I believe she told him everything I said. She tried to act like she was on my side when I know it was just an act. Yes. More than likely. Hello, Kitty. More than likely, I mean, you dealt with a narcissist. The mother is probably she's either an enabler or she's a narcissist too. And either way you look at it, whether she's an enabler or a narcissist, she's in relation to the narcissist. Her loyalty will always be to the narcissist. Okay? So which it's not your fault, because listen, I thought my ex's mother was being genuine with me, and it turns out that was not the case. In fact, she was completely two-faced, completely hypocritical. Her loyalty is always going to be her child. Okay, so whether she's the enabler or she's a narcissist herself, everything that you have told her in confidence will be shared with him. So if there was anything that you spoke with her about in private that you thought, listen, this could stay between us, there's just certain things I can't talk about with your son, but I feel more comfortable talking with you, you better believe she already told him. Kelly, my ex is a bipolar narc. And that's double. That's like you're dealing with someone who has a mental illness and a personality disorder. So you're dealing with someone who has to take meds for this illness and has a very extremely distorted way of thinking. That's just completely, that's dangerous. That's a mixture that I wouldn't even bother with. I think the hardest part, what is weeding out the flying monkeys. I'd never heard any of this stuff. Narcissistic flying monkeys, ghosted projection, discard, new supply. Thanks everybody. You're welcome, Butch. Yeah, it's I think I'm gonna do a video on like a glossary, of the different terminology that we use for narcissism, or just in psychology itself. I think that's something that I will do. So, again, for people who are just coming on board and people who are just now learning about narcissism and are going through the motions just now, to kind of bring them up to speed. So I think guys, I'll do a video on that. Andrea, my ex-narc has bipolar issues and mental illnesses. Illness, he's dangerous. Yes. Yes. People who have bipolar disorder, if they do not properly take care of that, if they don't take that with care of that with their medication, they can be dangerous. They can be dangerous. You have bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. I think, is it bipolar 1 that's more dangerous or bipolar 2? I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember which one it is, but they can be extremely, if they're at their highest highs or even at their lowest lows, if it's a chemical imbalance in their brain. So you're dealing with a chemical imbalance in their brain, plus if they have NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, it's kind of like mixing a very strong poisonous type of drink. It's just not something that you want to get involved with. If I can't trust you with my emotions, then I definitely can't trust you with my life. Absolutely, Justice. Absolutely. Because if they don't give a shit about how you feel, they don't give a shit about, what it is that your feelings, they don't give a shit about anything else. If they're that selfish, and if they don't care about how you feel, they clearly don't care if you're comfortable or if you are. Yeah, they're just not worth it, honey. He's not worth it. Trust me on that. You know how I feel about it. He is definitely not worth it. But after discard, my ex had me feeling like I was a narc. They do that. The least with the flying monkeys told me I paid a lot of money, made a lot of people laugh, only to learn that I'm not narcissistic, just pathetic. Yeah, they will, of course, clearly flip that around. They will make you feel as if you're the one who was toxic, and of course they will give that projection to other people that you were the toxic one. You were the one who was causing problems. You were the one who was untrustworthy. You were the one who was a liar. You were the one who was, and it's because they managed to. Now, the only reason you felt like you were the narcissist was because during that time of you guys being together, it basically, you were what's the word for it, guys? During that time of you two being together, it's all part of traumatic bonding. Okay, it's all part of traumatic bonding. She conditioned you to believe that you're insecure, you are jealous, you are trying to be controlling, you are trying to tell her what to do, you're trying to tell her how to feel, you're trying to tell her how to be, you're trying to tell her all these things. Mind you, throughout that time, but I wasn't there personally, so I can't say exactly what happened. But hi, Tat. Hi, sweetheart. You were trying to, she had you believing that you were trying to control her, and you had, insecurities, you had jealousy, and you were basically, she just conditioned you to believe that you were the toxic one. You were the one who was trying to be in the driver's seat. You were the one who was trying to tell her what to do and how to feel and so forth and so on. And the truth of it was, if you were sitting there just trying to communicate with her, trying to express things to her, and she was not having it, or if it wasn't on her agenda, on her list of things to do, or whatever the case may be, then clearly you are interfering with her plans, you're interfering with what it is she wants. And of course, people of this nature, you can't do that. You can't do that. So because you're trying to, impede, you're trying to do that in her eyes, she has to pretty much flip it around and make you appear to be the one who's demanding, the one who's controlling, the one who's manipulative. A lot of people who end Narcissistic relationships or have been discarded end up feeling like they're the narcissist, because especially codependence. I thought I was a narcissist because as a codependent, I shared certain qualities with a narcissist. I shared certain traumas with a narcissist. And I literally thought that I was a narcissist when I got out of the relationship, because I learned all of these things about narcissists. But I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I get it. I was kind of clingy, and I was this and I was that. And I was trying to, I was, I guess, being smothering in a sense, like that caregiver type of vibe. But I was like, but I saw certain behaviors and it made me think of myself. But then my therapist, explained to me, you have codependents have traumas just like narcissists do, because we were raised by the same type of environment. However, codependents are more empathetic. They're more the caregiver. A narcissist is a caretaker. Okay, we're the caregivers. We're the ones who just constantly, even though we need constant validation, it's because we do have low self-esteem. We do have a lack of identity, but we don't walk around in the world creating a false sense of self. We don't do that. The problems that we had as codependents is we relied on people for emotional validation. We relied on other people to make us happy because we couldn't make ourselves happy because we had no self-love. We couldn't self-validate. So we relied on other people to do it. Narcissists and codependents share a lot of qualities, like certain similar qualities, because we share the same traumas. But we're very, very different people. Oh, Tat, thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it too. I'm actually going to do, guys, a video on signs that you're a victim of narcissistic abuse. What is it called? My gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I have so much stuff going on, and I'm like literally exhausted. I've had a long day today. Narcissistic abuse victim syndrome. Okay. And it's kind of similar to the traumatic bonding. And of course, signs that you are a victim of narcissistic abuse. But it's going to be obviously a shorter video. And I'm going to give mainly the very strong key points, because again, I like to keep my content fresh and up to date, because I do get a lot of different people who do see the channel, who are, again, new, who are unfortunately new victims, and, new survivors. And we're going to have a lot of different things that I'm going to be working on. I'm trying my best to stay on point with these lives and the videos and the content and work and studies and little man. So it's been kind of hectic, but I'm definitely trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it up to point. Is that the same as CPTSD? Well, CPTSD is narcissist. Well, CPTSD is a form of PTSD based on ongoing abuse. Okay, it's kind of like a more a longer it's kind of like how people have autoimmune disease, where it's like their bodies go through certain types. Because you guys also, I'm gonna answer you, Butch, but you guys, I also want to talk about and maybe we'll do this on a quick live, how you can also develop autoimmune disease based on the traumas that you have experienced during narcissistic abuse. That has a very big role in it too, guys. There's so much I want to talk about with you guys, so much. But that's one important thing that I definitely want to do a live about, because you can develop that after being in an extremely toxic and abusive relationship. Autoimmune disease. Can you picture that? Can you imagine that? Your mind goes through so much that you are actually in a way, manifesting. Your health is actually manifesting an autoimmune disease. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And it's crazy and kind of amazing at the same time, because it's like, damn, that's how serious it can be, guys. That's how serious it can get. You can get sick. Your body can physically get sick, where you're fighting off. You're trying to, because your mind has already just taken in so much of this. Manipulation can not only affects the psychological abuse, not only affects your mind, it affects your body. Your body actually begins to shut down. Your immune system can shut down from this. That's how serious this gets. And I'm trying so hard so people do not get to that point. But that's how serious it gets. We're going to talk more about that too in the next live. But CPTSD is pretty much, it's a prolonged version. It's a prolonged form of PTSD. Narcissistic abuse victim syndrome. It's just basically it's what it is. It's being a victim of narcissistic abuse, but the types of behaviors as a victim of narcissistic abuse that one would demonstrate, that one would pretty much, for lack of a better word, we're going to say one would project. So it's pretty much signs that you're a victim of narcissistic abuse, but you have developed a syndrome, because as a syndrome, it's pretty much something that you have adapted. Like you've basically, I don't want to say contracted, but it's just, these are behaviors that you are experiencing, that you are projecting. And it's just a way to kind of give you guys the idea of what it is you may be projecting towards other people. Because sometimes people who are suffering PTSD, CPTSD, the different types of behaviors, you may not realize it. You don't realize what you may be projecting onto other people, because you got to understand, you guys are in your own, you're in your own mind frame, you're in your own world. So if you're experiencing PTSD, or if you're experiencing CPTSD, you can be projecting things onto other people and don't even realize you're doing it. So I definitely want to do the video on that for you guys too. So just in case there are certain things that might strike a chord, that might, light bulb might come up. I mean, that's the whole point of, doing all of this. Understanding and healing, getting through the motions, getting through the healing. And the best way to do it is to understand what you're experiencing. You know what you're experiencing, but it's better to really fully understand what it is you're experiencing, so you know the next steps that you guys have to take. All right, guys. Oh, so I am so glad that I got to see a lot of you. Yeah, hello, Kitty. Please be very, very careful. Be very careful, because I've had a few subscribers who have also expressed to me that they have developed autoimmune disease as a result of the trauma from the abusive relationships that they had, whether it be narcissistic or just, physical abuse, domestic, it could be anything, So please be very, very careful with that. But yeah, no, but I'm gonna do it for you guys. I'll do the video for you guys. I've been just doing so much running around, and just it's been a really long day for me, guys. So I know after this I'm going to hit the sack, because I'm completely exhausted. But I'm so happy that I was able to see all of you, most of you here, and I'm so happy that a lot of you were able to just sit in and just be a part of this. It makes me feel really, really happy, I don't want to say it makes me feel happy to have gone through the experience, because I got to meet you guys. I would have loved to have met you guys under different circumstances. But, if this is how it had to be, then if I had to do it all over again, I pray I don't have to. But if I had to, I'd do it all over again, just to be able to be in the company of you guys, because you guys are awesome. You really, really are, to be here. And I know a lot of you, it's almost 10:30. I know a lot of you got to be in bed too. I know I got to be in bed. Do it all the time. going by, do you still have flashbacks or thoughts of grandeur? If you're asking me, Butch, do I still have flashbacks? Not like I used to. I have thoughts, some memories, you know. But no, I don't have any flashbacks or anything. I guess most of the time I just avoid. You're very welcome, Kelly. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. I avoid. That's pretty much what I do. I just avoid people. I avoid anything that reminds me. I just avoid. The only thing I can't avoid clearly would be running into the person, because unfortunately I am, I don't know if that person is still there. Don't know, but if that's the only way I really would be able to bump into the person. I live not far from the person, so. But if you can manage to live 5 minutes away from someone who has severely hurt you and just, gave you enough trauma to where you have PTSD, then yeah, and not lose sleep over it, that says a lot. That says a hell of a lot. But guys, thank you, Heather. Thank you, my love. I love you too. For justice, hey, listen, like I said, it's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys. I'm here for you guys. You guys have been here for me. You guys hear me venting. I love to, I just love to hear your stories. I love to hear where you guys are and making sure, we do our weekly check-ins and making sure that we're all good. And, you guys know that if you need me for anything, you know where to find me. You can email me. You can shoot me a DM. I'll answer to the best of my ability. I'll answer when I can, but I'll definitely, I'm here for you guys. So the next, we're going to be working on the next video, which will be the signs of narcissistic abuse, victim of narcissistic abuse syndrome. I think that's what I'm going to name it. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to do that. And I'm going to do a video on the glossary for, for narcissism, psychology, just, so we can get a better understanding of things. All right, guys. So I'm going to call it a night. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for supporting, just supporting me and everything that I'm trying to accomplish, and just for being who you are. That's all I need. I just need real vibers in my life. That's what I need, and that's what I intend on keeping. So I definitely enjoy doing this for you. But you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Have a great night. Have a great night. And you guys, all of you, have a beautiful night. Have a great night. Sweet dreams to you all. I'll be working on those videos. And in the meantime, you know me, I'll be posting up on the community board. And if you got questions or anything you want to add to this, please, because this will stream on YouTube and it's going to stream on Facebook. So anything you want to add, please be sure to leave it in the comment section for anyone who may need to read it, need to hear it. Any questions, any inquiries, whatever the case may be, you can shoot me an email. The email will be in the description box below. And for Justice, you're very welcome, sweetheart. You're very welcome. And you can always contact me if you need to, okay? So like I told you, stay in that energy, all right? Stay in that energy and you'll be fine. All right. Heather, love you too. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I got to take this out of my hair. I'm going to take off these clothes, get my PJs, and go to bed. I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for joining the session. Please hit the like button on your way out. And if you want to share the video, share it the live on, any social media platform. That's what it's there for. You never know who needs to hear it. You never know who's going through the motions and they just need to hear some, some good words of knowledge. So I love you all. Have a great night, guys. I'll be working on those videos, be seeing you on the community board, and, I'll pop my head in every so often. All right. Thank you for being here, guys. Have a great night. Sweet dreams, happiness, love, peace, all that good stuff. You know how we do. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. Good night.